Welcome to Module ACC WR 4.3, titled Parallel Structure. As you continue your route, navigating the repetitive motions of sorting and delivering, you are actually engaging in a form of physical parallelism. In writing, parallel structure, also known as parallelism, is the requirement that items in a series, list, or comparison must follow the same grammatical form. It is the rule of consistency and symmetry. On the accuplacer, this is a high-frequency concept because it tests your ability to recognize rhythm and balance in a sentence. To achieve a top-tier score, you must look past the meaning of the words and analyze their grammatical shape. If a writer starts a pattern, they must finish it. Any deviation from that pattern is a structural error that will cost you points. Let us begin with the most basic form, the simple list. When a sentence provides a list of 3 or more items, every item in that list must be the same part of speech. You cannot mix nouns with verbs or adjectives with phrases. The test makers will give you a sentence that sounds okay to the casual listener but is structurally broken. Listen to this error for your audio learning. The successful candidate must be intelligent, hardworking, and have a lot of experience. Let us analyze the shape of that list. Item 1, intelligent, an adjective. Item 2, hardworking, an adjective. Item 3, have a lot of experience, a verb phrase. This is a violation of parallel structure. It's like a 3-legged stool with one leg made of a different material. The reader's brain expects a third adjective to complete the rhythm. The syntactically correct high-score version is, the successful candidate must be intelligent, hardworking, and experienced. Now the list is perfectly balanced. Adjective, adjective, adjective. Parallelism also applies to verb series. If you are describing a sequence of actions, all the verbs must be in the same form. Listen to this error. To prepare for the exam, the student reviewed her notes, took practice tests, and was watching instructional videos. Item 1, reviewed past tense. Item 2, took past tense. Item 3, was watching past progressive. The shift to was watching breaks the parallel rhythm. The correct version is, the student reviewed her notes, took practice tests, and watched instructional videos. The second pillar of parallelism involves phrases. This is where the accuplacer becomes more sophisticated. The test frequently targets infinitives versus gerunds. An infinitive is the to form of a verb like to run. A gerund is the ing form of a verb like running. You can use either one, but you cannot mix them in the same sentence. Consider this classic trap. The athlete enjoys swimming, hiking, and to ride his bicycle. Item 1, swimming gerund. Item 2, hiking gerund. Item 3, to ride infinitive. This is structurally inconsistent. To fix it, you must choose one shape and stick to it. Correct version A, the athlete enjoys swimming, hiking, and riding his bicycle. All gerunds. Correct version B, the athlete likes to swim, to hike, and to ride his bicycle. All infinitives. Within infinitive lists, there is a specific nuance regarding the word to. You have 2 legal options. You can either put the word to before every single verb in the list, or you can put it only before the first verb and let it apply to the rest. You cannot do it halfway. Error: the goal is to analyze the data, to identify trends, and draw conclusions. This is wrong because to is used for the first 2, but missing for the third. Correct: the goal is to analyze the data, to identify trends, and to draw conclusions. Also correct: the goal is to analyze the data, identify trends, and draw conclusions. The third pillar is parallelism with correlative conjunctions. This is a high-level concept that separates top-tier students from the average. Correlative conjunctions are matched pairs of words that join ideas. The most common pairs are not only, but also, either, or neither, nor, both, and whether, or. The law of correlatives states that whatever grammatical structure follows the first part of the pair must also follow the second part. The accuplacer will try to hide the error by putting many words between the two parts of the pair. Listen to this error. The new policy affects not only the students in the city, but also impacts the teachers in the suburbs. Let us look at what follows. Not only the students, a noun phrase. Let us look at what follows, but also impacts the teachers, a verb phrase. This is unbalanced. The correct parallel version is, the new policy affects not only the students in the city, but also the teachers in the suburbs. Now, both parts are followed by a noun phrase. Another example. The manager was neither happy about the results, nor was she satisfied with the explanation. After. Neither is happy, an adjective. After nor is was she satisfied, a whole clause. The correct version is, the manager was neither happy with the results nor satisfied with the explanation. The fourth pillar is parallelism in comparisons. This is perhaps the most difficult application because it requires logical parallelism. When you compare two things using words like then or as, the two things must be of the same grammatical category. If you compare a person to a thing or a noun to a phrase, you have created a faulty comparison. Listen to this high-level error. The salary of a doctor is significantly higher than a teacher. On the surface, this sounds fine. But logically, what are you comparing? You are comparing the salary, a thing, to a teacher, a person. You cannot be higher than a person. You can only be higher than another salary. This is a violation of parallel logic. Correct version A. The salary of a doctor is significantly higher than the salary of a teacher. Correct version B. The salary of a doctor is significantly higher than a teacher. S. The apostrophe S implies teacher's salary. Another comparison error. Riding a bicycle is often more efficient than to walk. Riding is a gerund, to walk is an infinitive. The correct parallel version is, riding a bicycle is often more efficient than walking. The fifth pillar involves prepositional phrases. When you have a list of phrases starting with a preposition, like in, on, at, by, or with, the prepositional structure must be consistent. Error: the treasure was hidden in the cave, under the rock, and the waterfall. Wait, is it in the waterfall or under the waterfall? By missing the third preposition, the writer has created a structural gap. Correct: the treasure was hidden in the cave, under the rock, and behind the waterfall. The sixth pillar is clause parallelism. This occurs in more complex sentences where the author is joining multiple who or that clauses. Example: the governor promised that taxes would be lowered, that schools would be improved, and that the environment would be protected. Notice the repetitive that, would be. This is not wordiness, it is rhetorical parallelism. It creates a sense of strength and conviction. On the accuplacer, you might be asked to choose a sentence that most effectively emphasizes a point. The answer that uses this kind of repeating parallel structure is often the winner because it is more persuasive. The seventh pillar is verb tense consistency. While we cover this in a separate module, it is fundamentally a form of parallelism. If a sentence describes a series of events happening at the same time, the verbs must stay in the same temporal plane. Error: the scientist enters the lab, adjusted his glasses, and begins the experiment. Enters is present, adjusted is past, begins is present. The correct version is, the scientist enters the lab, adjusts his glasses, and begins the experiment. Now, let us discuss the accuplacer trap zone. The test makers are masters at hiding these errors in long, complex sentences. Trap number 1 is the length distraction. They will write a sentence that is 40 words long. By the time you get to the third item in the list, you have forgotten the grammatical form of the first item. Your strategy: when you see a list, label the first item. If the first item is to analyze, say to yourself infinitive. Then check the rest. If item 3 is identifying, you have caught the error. Trap number 2 is the noun gerund confusion. Error: the course focuses on leadership, communication, and how to manage a budget. Leadership is a noun. Communication is a noun. How to manage a budget is a clause. The correct version is, the course focuses on leadership, communication, and budget management. Now, all three are nouns. Trap number 3 is faulty comparison with as. Error: the view from the mountain was as beautiful as the valley. You are comparing a view, an image, to a valley, a physical place. Correct: the view from the mountain was as beautiful as the view from the valley. Let us discuss the rhetorical power of parallelism. Parallelism is not just a rule to avoid errors, it is a tool for professional writing. Consider some of the most famous lines in history. Abraham Lincoln said, "Of the people, by the people, for the people." That is parallel structure. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "I have a dream that one day, I have a dream that one day." That is parallel structure. If you are asked to choose the best version of a sentence in the writing section, the choice that uses parallel structure will sound more authoritative, confident, and clear. How do you tackle these questions on Tuesday? You must use the rhythm test. As you read a sentence in your head, listen for the thump. A parallel sentence has a steady beat, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. She likes hiking, biking, and running. Steady beat. She likes hiking, biking, and to run. The beat is broken, the thump happens. Another technique is the vertical alignment test. Mentally stack the items of a list on top of each other. Intelligent, hardworking, having experience. If you look at that list vertically, the third one is clearly longer and shaped differently. You want a list where every item lines up grammatically. As you finish this neighborhood on your route, think of parallel structure as the standardization of your delivery. Every mailbox on this street is roughly the same height, the same distance from the curb, and serves the same purpose. If you suddenly encountered a mailbox that was 10 feet tall and required a ladder, the parallelism of your route would be broken, and your efficiency would drop. In writing, a non-parallel sentence forces the reader to stop and climb a ladder to figure out the grammar. A parallel sentence allows them to glide through the information. To summarize the essential strategies for Module ACC WR 4.3. First, identify all lists and series. Ensure every item is the same part of speech, noun, verb, adjective. Second, never mix infinitives, to run with gerunds, running. Third, with correlative conjunctions, not only but also, ensure the grammatical structure following the first part matches the second part exactly. Fourth, fix faulty comparisons. Ensure you are comparing like to like, a salary to a salary, a view to a view. Fifth, maintain prepositional consistency. Either use the preposition for every item or only for the first. Sixth, use the rhythm test to hear where the grammatical balance is broken. Seventh, in which is the best version questions, favor the choice that uses parallel structure for rhetorical strength. Eighth, stack items vertically in your mind to see if they line up grammatically. Ninth, watch out for noun clause mixtures in lists. Turn the clause back into a noun or the nouns into clauses. By mastering parallel structure, you are demonstrating that you have a logical and orderly mind. You are showing that you can sustain a pattern and respect the reader's expectation of balance. This is one of the most sophisticated skills in the writing section, and it is a hallmark of high-scoring students. When you get to Hudson Valley Community College, your professors will notice and appreciate the clarity that parallelism brings to your academic essays. This concludes our deep dive into Module ACC WR 4.3. You are becoming a master of grammatical symmetry. When you are ready to explore how to place descriptors correctly in a sentence, our next target is Module ACC WR 4.4, Modifier Placement. Just say the word next when you are ready to proceed.